Greetings, humanity, and welcome once more to Channel Otherdoc. I am Jim. I use he/him pronouns, and today we are playing Seco Creek Vigilance Committee. This is a story game about. This is not a story. Wait, what the heck? This is my script from last week. This is a game that is is essentially a western set shortly after some outlaws have been apprehended, and about the moral choices that must be made as folks try to decide what to do based on the web of things happening in the town. And so we're going to see how this goes. It's diceless. It's very character driven, and I'm excited to take a look at it. We're going to go ahead and go around and say hi to everybody, and get folks to tell us who they are and who they're playing. And I'm just going to go. I'm going to go down the columns. I'm going to start with Lucy. Hello.
Hi. I'm Lucy, and I'm playing Sheriff Day Walters.
Yay! Awesome. And now let us go over to Jen. Hello.
I'm Jen. I'm playing Deputy Aida Marquez. Oui.
Awesome. And now over to Mem. Hello.
Hello, I'm Mem. I'm playing Lee Owens, the feed shop owner.
Cool. And now down to Jesse. Hello.
Hey, I'm Jesse Galena. I'm playing Thomas Duval, the rancher.
Yes. Welcome to the channel, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
I think for the first time. And also, finally, another person is on the channel for the first time. Iron, hello.
Hi. I'm Iron, and I will be playing Jesse Grant, the former outlaw.
Excellent. All right. Well, before we dive in, just as a reminder, like we do for most games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we'll back up and we'll do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it, or we'll put it behind a veil, essentially, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let folks know that we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. Now, we're going to get this thing started. There is a pattern that it is meant to follow as we begin, is at least for starting and ending, and then everything in between is chaos. Let me do down here. There's a thing I'm supposed to read out. Here we go. This is the starting situation. 3 infamous outlaws sit in the Seco Creek jail. You and your posse just deposited them there for the crime of knocking over the Weaverville stage. 1 lockbox missing and 1 life lost. The evidence against the desperados in the cell behind you isn't as robust as you'd hoped. They're probably not all guilty, at least not for this. But their reputation precedes them, and the townsfolk have no intention of letting them make it to trial in the territorial capital of Bright City. It wouldn't be the first time that any of the 3 have gone to trial there, and surely it would be far from the first time their gang leader, Duke Cahill, used his influence to get them off. The people of Seco Creek know this, just like they know that, as powerful as he may be, Duke Cahill won't be able to get them off the end of a rope if it's tied and dropped fast. Some of the citizens of your fair town are gathering outside the jail right now, and the train to Bright City doesn't leave until 3:10 p.m. tomorrow. What will you do? And so that is the basis of this entire drama. As we are going around setting things up here, we're gonna review the character information, and we're gonna go over some of the basics here as we're gearing this up, and we'll dive in. So first off, do we want to go around and it says to go around and read the point of view paragraphs. Would you folks be cool with that, or do you want to skip that? Because I don't know. I want you to have the freedom to drift away from those interpretations if you so desire.
Mine's pretty cool. I'm good with it.
Is the point of view paragraph the part under your name before
Yes.
history? Okay.
Yeah. Well, if we're good with that, we're going to go ahead and go around, and we'll each do the reading of the point of view thingy, and we will to give us a little bit more. So we will start with Sheriff Walter.
All right. Am I just doing the paragraphs and then stop?
Yeah, you just do the paragraph and then stop, and then we'll talk about other parts of the character as we in another go round.
All right. There have been a lot of sheriffs in Seco Creek, though there hasn't rightly been a single one yet. That's to say, no one with the full force and power of the county court behind them. Nothing behind the badge but the person, and there won't be till Seco Creek is incorporated. Of course, that's something that any lawbreaker who gets hauled from Seco Creek to the county seat in Bright City is more than happy to point out to the judge, the jury, and anyone who doesn't move away quick enough. But to me, it don't matter, and I think it's the same for most of the people here in Seco Creek. A sheriff without backing stands only on their reputation, and I think mine is strong. I've treated these people fair and never made exceptions except where they was warranted. I aim to keep that balance between freedom and order and keep Seco Creek a place where everyone can get a fair shot. The shot might not always come out the way the shooter wants, but I plan to make sure everybody at least gets the rights to line it up.
I feel as though the language of the fair shot is very interesting, considering your character is one of the few who can just basically shoot people, if need be. Because you have a privilege that lets you inflict violence without negotiation. Violence in this game is excruciatingly violent, by the way, if you do it. It's like you can take maybe one hit, maybe two, and then that's it.
Which is, realistic.
Yes, precisely. So we will, and we'll get to your, the second go round will involve questions, but now let's go down, go to our next character, Deputy Marquez.
All right, I'm a good follow-up to that one, too. It never fails to amaze me just how often it feels like I've stepped in a big old pile of horse shit. My eyes are on my destination, and then my boot is in the shit. It's that feeling of being stuck between two places, that awkwardness in between. You could be all the way here or all the way there, and probably either would be okay, but you ain't fully in either place. You think, well, here I am again, always finding myself in places I don't mean to and trying to do my best in that situation. Same thing happens to Sheriff Walter, except I don't think she knows it, don't think they know it, to be so. I envy that. Sometimes it's so much better not to know. And then if you don't know that train is coming, you don't know to get off the track. Guess that's why the sheriff's got me. Guess that's why this whole town's got me.
Yep. And the deputy is interesting in that the deputy starts with the key to the cell. So I've placed that under your little character box there under the map, which the key can, of course, be transferred depending on what happens in the fiction.
No, it's stuck to me. I welded it to my hand.
No one gets out. No one.
Nothing a good axe to the hand won't fix.
You never know.
Okay. The violence is real.
This
Violence is
escalated
real.
very quickly.
Yes. It's, the deputy is effectively a cyborg. Now we will move on to Lee Owens, to the proprietor of Owens Feed, for their paragraph.
All right. I guess if you've been anywhere at all, you You'd be likely to say that Seco Creek isn't any kind of special place, and you'd probably be right. But the thing about that is, we can make Seco Creek a special place. We can make it our own special place. Our beginnings have been as auspicious or not as any other place that became great. We just need the men and the women and the will to make it so. We already got ourselves a foothold out here, and now we need to start climbing. But you can be sure that not everyone wants to see us climb up to greatness. We need to be ever vigilant against those that would drag us back and tear down what we've already built. And I won't lie, it's going to mean sacrifices and struggle. Suffering today for success tomorrow. That's how everything great got that way, and it won't be easy for any of us, but nothing worth doing ever has been.
Cool. All right. And I'm just sort of going through here. We're going to go down to Thomas Duvall, the rancher.
Cool. I'm going to actually summarize mine.
Sure.
As the character would probably say it.
Okay.
I seen this place when it was dirt, and seen what it became, what Seco Creek is now. I know more than all the other folks here about it. I was born here, raised here, but I ain't gonna die here.
Very cool. Very interesting. Okay. Very interesting. All right. And now finally we go down to James Grant, the former outlaw.
All right. Let's see. All right. Some folks won't ever let you forget. And there's truth to that fact that maybe some things shouldn't be forgotten. That doesn't mean they shouldn't be forgiven. Though I guess lots of folks around here don't agree with many of that thinking. Hell, maybe I'm even one of them. I don't know if what I've done is forgive myself so much as move on. Of course, moving on is harder when your own living blood is still right where you were before. And there's about as much of a chance for Ulysses moving on from Cahill's gang as there is for folks forgetting what he and I and the rest of the gang did in Sagebrush. Sagebrush? Yeah.
In the sagebrush, yeah.
Something just shy of zero.
Yeah, you did something out there in the sagebrush. I don't know what it was.
I'm just gonna throw out the line. Not only just the men, but the women and children too.
Oh God. No, we're no. Seco Creek is unincorporated, but one of the few town laws is they don't allow lightsabers. But
I'm moving out.
It's okay. I got blasters.
This place can't be great after all.
I know, right? Town ordinance. No lightsabers within city limits. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead, and we're now going to do go over the history questions, so that we can assign the favor to you, which is the main currency in this game is favor of the different factions. We basically have the townsfolk who all desire to be safe from harm. We have the politicians who wish to remain in power. We have the merchants who all want to grow and prosper. And we have the outlaws, both in and out of the jail cell, who want to be free. And those are their main motivations here. So I'm going back to Sheriff Walter. I'm just going to go through and ask the questions, and you can go over the answers. Someone relies on you to maintain their position. Who and what would happen if you failed them?
Elwood Smalls relies on me to keep their position. If I failed them, they'd lose it, and it's likely that the governor would lose some authority in Seco Creek.
Okay, hang on just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Elwood Smalls?
Correct.
Okay. I'm just updating. Okay. There have been a few name changes. I just want to make sure I get them correct here. Awesome. Okay, and that is a politician, so you get one political favor, which I shall transfer up to you. There you go. And someone has romantic intentions towards you. Who? How do you feel about them?
Duke Cahill has romantic intentions toward me. I respect Duke Cahill enough as a person because of the order they install on the region, but I only tolerate their romantic advances out of pragmatism.
Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and we give you a favor from the outlaw faction, and then you helped someone out of a jam, even though it was beyond your duty as an officer of the law. How did you help?
I caught the teacher, Carolina Ruiz, stealing cash from the town treasury. They told me it was going to be used for improvements for the school, and I don't know if that's true or not. I don't care, because I don't care about money, and I let them off with a warning.
Okay, good. I'm just trying to build a chart real quick while we're doing this. Okay. And so Carolina Ruiz, who is, where is, I believe that's townsfolk.
Townsfolk.
Townsfolk, yeah. Okay. I know it's on this list somewhere. I copied the whole list. All right. Do you have a townsfolk token there? All right. There it is. It's down here. Okay, and then we go to this question, which I need to go back to. There we go. One of the outlaws currently in your jail gave you a surprising sign that they respect your authority. Who and what did they do?
When I put Trevor Craig in jail, Trevor thanked me and said that they didn't want anyone else to get hurt.
Trevor, okay. Trevor Krieg. Yeah. All right. Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm just want to make sure I'm moving a couple of things around here real quick, just so that I have it, so that I don't keep interrupting myself while everything else is going on, which is going to happen in some sense anyway because ADHD. But you know how this goes. All right. So you got another outlaw token there, and Trevor Krieg thanked you. Okay. All right. Wanted to avoid further bloodshed. That's good. Awesome. All right. And someone in town resents your power and would see you laid low. Who and why?
Lindsay Hale resents my position and wouldn't mind seeing me laid low. I don't care about economic prosperity and would rather make sure that robbers are having their needs met rather than be punished for the most part. Lindsay would prefer law enforcement in support of financial prosperity.
Okay. All right. So, let's see. Lindsay Hale is the saloon owner.
Merchant.
Okay, merchant. All right. So, it's interesting because I'm supposed to take away a green token basically from you, but there isn't one. So I'm going to. There are no negatives. So you're still at 0 for them.
Understood.
All right. And these are things that can change as the fiction continues. All right. So as we keep going. To Deputy Marquez. Someone thinks Seco Creek would be better served with you as sheriff. Who and why?
Our mayor really would rather have me in that position. And just so people know, the only reason why I'm not sheriff is because a while back I shot a guy who turned out to be innocent. But the mayor really likes the fact that he thinks that I would be better at being like tough on crime. And you might have noticed that our sheriff is not very good at being tough on crime. So that's why he prefers me.
Okay. All right. So that there is a politician. So you are going to get you get a politician token here. All right.
I'm going to cancel myself out, though. Like, I did not do this very strategically at all.
No worries. Let's keep going. Someone looks out for you like their little brother or little sister, a little sibling. How do you feel about them?
Okay, let me just say something about Carolina. Her mom is my godmom, so we sort of grew up together. And yeah, she sees me as kind of like a little sister, which makes me awful sad because I've been in love with her for most of my life.
Oh.
She's interested in someone else, though, or she has been in the past. Also, I don't believe she stole my money. Don't believe it.
Are you sure?
More like currently is still though.
Are you sure? All right, Caroline's one of the townsfolk. Okay, so you get that. And you helped someone out of a jam, even though it was beyond your duty as an officer of the law. Who and how did you help?
I helped Lindsay Hale. There were a couple people in her saloon who were being ungentlemanly. And I took them out back and I shot one in the foot.
That's very good. I'm sorry, who again was that?
Lindsay Hale.
Lindsay Hale, okay. Basically shot an interested party.
I'm the non-restorative justice character in this game, apparently.
I mean, you know.
There's got to be a heavy. Come on.
These things happen. These things happen. Okay, and Lindsay once again is a merchant. So you get one of them. All right. And one of the outlaws currently in your jail knew the man you shot, or knew the person you shot, and forgave you for it. Who and why did they forgive you?
Well, I shot her cousin, and she forgave me because she's got a crush on me.
Serious crush.
So this was.
It's not a serious crush. I'm just that attractive. Okay, that's really what it is.
Okay, so this was Maybell.
It's Maybell.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. Need to like separate out the ones in the cell so that I can make sure that that's there. Okay. So did I give you I didn't give you the outlaw token there. There it is. Okay. Someone in town did not and will not forgive. It says. Who and how do they know the man?
Elwood Grant was best buddies with the man I killed. Does not believe he was guilty. I think it turns out he was probably not guilty. And Elwood was best friends with him, so he's not forgiven me. Of course, I picked like the most powerful person in the game to be the one that doesn't forgive me.
Elwood Grant Smalls.
Which is great because Elwood favors the sheriff and the mayor doesn't, so we flip-flopped.
Nice. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. All right. So that's political taken away. Okay. And there we go. Okay. Let me pull this over. All right. Next, we go to Lee Owens. Someone in town owes you a significant debt of gratitude and, more importantly, currency. Who and why did they need the money?
So Jasper Phelps, he has the horses and things. That is not what it's called. I can't think of the word.
The livery?
Yes, thank you. He owns a livery for several months. Couldn't afford to keep feed and supplies for the livery, so I allowed him to buy things on credit, and have continued to allow him to buy things on credit, just waiting for his supposed windfall.
Excellent. Okay. So that is another merchant. presumably. I'm just making I'm double checking all of the things that I'm writing down because I haven't got the certain notes in place yet. Okay. Yep. Okay. There you go. It's now telling me how many feet that it is. That's okay. All right. And now going further down. Your next question. One of the town's leading lights has thrown their weight behind your civic vision. Who and why?
I guess looking back, she's probably not a leading light, but that's okay. So Carolina and I are good friends. We're both very firm believers in Seco Creek. And we really want the town to prosper and to grow. So together, we work together a lot on projects and things, try to help figure out what we can do to help the town.
Awesome. So that's another townsfolk token here. Okay. Now, someone in town depends upon your store for their success. Who and what would happen if your store were no longer there for them?
So, the mayor likes to come and use it as a stage for his campaign. He comes and encourages people in their shopping to think of him, and then he also may or may not slide a little extra money to help them pay for their supplies.
So basically, uses your store as basically to stump for votes and what have you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. One of the outlaws currently in the jail managed to aid your business, whether intentionally or inadvertently. Who and what did they do?
So, Billy Grant found some documents that had accidentally wandered outside of the shop on their way to be placed in a more secure location, and he brought them back. And those documents held a lot of the written agreements between locals for the business and those locals.
So he recovered documents for you?
Yes, and he returned them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Where did he get these from?
They were going somewhere else, and someone else dropped them.
Okay.
And he found them in town and happened to bring them back.
Or at least that's what he told you, I'm guessing.
Right. He found them.
Yes, found them. I'm going to say it's just for the sake of simplicity that if this will work, it's Billy Ulysses Grant. This basically is his... We don't know if it's a nickname or not. It might be. But let us go ahead and get to this other question. One of your own creditors begrudges your debt to them. Who and why?
So, Duke was unable for a while to afford things for his ranch. And for taking care of those horses that all those outlaws need. And so he purchased things on credit and has yet to repay the debt. And it doesn't seem like he's real willing to repay it.
Huh.
No.
One little thing I just want to double check on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I do need to point something out real quick. And that is that a creditor is one to whom debt is owed.
Wait. Oh. I owe him.
And so, yeah, he would begrudge the fact that you would owe him a debt if that were the case.
Well, let me rethink that one. Come back to me.
Okay, sure. No problem. I noticed that I was thinking through. I was like, wait. We will. I'll come back to you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, let us go ahead and move on to Thomas Duvall and get into the history. Someone in town has prospered thanks to your ranch's success. Who and how has your ranch helped them?
It's Duke Cahill, however you pronounce that,
Mm-hmm.
the leader of the bandits. I sell goods from my ranch to Duke and the Outlaws because I make a little more profit off of them than I do selling it in the market. And also, if they don't have supplies, they steal more.
I mean, so it's in everyone's best interest.
Right. It's the idea.
Awesome. All right. Someone in town has lived on this land almost as long as you have. Who and how do you feel about them?
Maybelle Welcott has lived here as long as I have. Lived off the land. So how I feel, I respect them, and even have romantic feelings for them. Unsure if it's reciprocated, but the hopeless romantic idea of like, we both are in a terrible situation or less than optimal situation here. We could run off together and start a new life and no one would know.
Interesting. Okay.
So I'm in 2 love triangles.
Is that... Oh, are you also have a connection to Maybelle?
Maybelle has a crush on me.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, my plan's not going to work then.
You never know. I
Who
mean,
knows?
is 2 love triangles enough? That's really my question. But who knows? Who indeed knows? Someone in town knows about your cattle deal, but hasn't said anything yet. Who and why have they remained silent?
Carolina Ruiz, again, I'm going to pronounce all the names wrong,
Oh, no worries.
knows that I sell to the Outlaws. However, they have no proof that I do that.
Okay.
He's very convinced of it.
Gotcha. But they've remained silent for some reason.
Yeah, no proof. So-
Just because there's no proof. Okay.
Like, they probably, like, say it, but if, like, oh, he's working with them, it's like, well, how do you know that? Come on.
It's interesting. Well, so you've got some favor from the townsfolk for as long as that's being kept quiet. So that's something. All right. That's probably helping the it's helping the reputation somewhat. All right. One of the outlaws who brokered your cattle deal allowed them. Oh yeah, that's right. We haven't figured out exactly what that one means. There is an outlaw who brokered your cattle deal, and you can tell me something that they like about you. And if you want more time, I can come back to you on that one.
No, I think it was. I was looking at the wrong thing. Let me pick a name real fast. So there's something they like about me.
Yeah.
And it's one of the people that was captured. Is that what you said, or is it someone else?
It says one of the outlaws who brokered your cattle deal.
Okay.
So it can be any of them.
I guess Duke would work.
Sure.
He's the leader. I'll say Duke and Thomas share like similar spiritual beliefs, and thus Duke considers him like a brother in the faith sort of thing.
All right. Excellent. Getting quite a bit of credit with the outlaw faction.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, your ranch wasn't always as large as it is now. One of your neighbors feels that this expansion has infringed upon their land rights. Who and are they right to think so?
Lindsay Hale, the person who owns the saloon, doesn't like my expanding ranch because the fields for my cows is getting closer and closer to the saloon, and they claim that they can smell it inside.
Ooh.
And they are correct. I am aggroing them pretty hard. But, I'm not. But I am.
No, no, not at all. No. So that would take away from the merchant faction, but you don't have any, so we're leaving you at 0.
4.
Okay. And finally, James Grant.
Yes.
You spared someone from being slaughtered by the Cahill gang. Who and how had they crossed the gang, and why did you save them?
So it was Lindsay Hale that I saved.
Okay.
how they crossed their gang was her husband tried to collect their debt, and the gang wasn't too happy about paying for the booze. And as for why I saved them, I like the atmosphere of the place, and the whiskey's top notch. So I like it. I like the place.
Excellent. Good, good. You've got a merchant token. Someone in town has known you since boyhood, since before you fell in with the wrong crowd. Who and how do you feel about them?
His name's Morgan Baird. Still got a soft spot for him when he doesn't drink too heavily. Like, he's actually a pretty decent person when he isn't like skunk drunk.
Nice, nice. Okay. Awesome, awesome. Going to town drunk. There we go. All right, so that's one of the townsfolk. And a resident of the town has employed you doing odd jobs. Who and why do they trust you?
That'd be Jasper Phelps. I tend to keep the gang off his back so he can earn a decent living, because him owing people sucks, and he owes quite a lot of people, so he tries to work as hard as he can, but those debts keep piling up.
Okay. Good, good. That's another merchant token. One of the outlaws currently in jail was never as vile as the other members of the gang. Who and what made them stand apart?
That would be Trevor Krieg. What made him stand apart outside of his like ginger hair and freckled face was that he was good at telling jokes.
Awesome. Excellent, excellent. So, their outlaw token for you. Someone who refuses to believe you have changed your ways. Who and why do they doubt you?
Oh, that'll be Clayton Dixon, the mayor. Most likely because of my brother, and so basically he sees me as a carbon copy. Like, your brother was no good, you're never gonna be no good. So
yeah, okay. So that would take away from the politicians. You don't have any, so we're leaving that at 0. Okay.
yeah. As an added thing, Caroline Ruiz is my on and on forget girlfriend.
Excellent.
Yeah.
How many people?
Yeah. We had a thing. The whole, stealing the money didn't really work out because I was trying to, work it out. Trying to be on this path of good. But at the same time, while I was running, I accidentally left her behind.
That's not good.
Oh, now my character hates you even more.
Yeah. And it sucks because I thought she had gotten away because we both split paths. And oh boy, was she not happy.
Nope.
I made it up to her later.
This is delightful. This is delightful. Okay. Good. All right. So, now, before we go back around, I will just ask briefly, hop back quickly as before we leave the history section, hop back quickly to Lee. Did you figure out how you wanted to set up the answer that debt question yet?
Yes. So I owe the debt to Lindsay Hale.
Okay.
So she helped me get established when I moved in because, saloon's a booming business. But now I'm not feeling so great about being right next to the saloon with all those drunk people and all this stuff. And I'm like, not really feeling the need to pay back that money so quickly. Maybe she moved somewhere else.
Nice. Okay, so Lindsay Hale is a merchant. So we're going to
A
remove.
merchant token.
We're going to remove your merchant token. No longer. All right. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. They're also pointing out that the smell probably doesn't help either. It's you know.
It's a feed store. It's okay. I don't mind.
Sure,
Really
it's the feed
teamwork.
store. I'm
It's
sure that's the
teamwork to
reason
muscle
why.
her out.
I'm sure that's the reason why there's been the smell of cattle encroaching on it. So
It just brings them closer to the feed. It's okay.
yes, that's it. Yeah, sure, that's not a problem. Awesome. I'm going to go through very briefly, just with the, and we're going to go over one or two more character sheet things real quick, and then we're going to do a little bit of development on the person who was who was shot in this, the victim of the recent robbery. So like about half this session is world building, and the other half is going to be RPing things through pretty much. So the just looking through, let's see, just to make sure everyone's aware of these things. We're not going to read out the keys, but I do want to at least get the burdens and the privileges on record, just so that we all have them in mind, in case they come up. So, Sheriff Walter, tell us what is your burden?
My burden is the burden of authority. I'm the sheriff in name only. There's no greater power behind me than my quick wit and quick draw. But I'm all the law the people of this town have.
Awesome. And your privilege. And what's your privilege?
I'm a strange shootist, a word I am not familiar with, but I believe it means to shoot. And when I attempt to inflict violence, you succeed without negotiation.
That's right. And now heading over to Deputy Marquez. What are your burdens? And these are things we'll know out of character, but some things we might not know in character yet. I just want to make that clear to everyone.
I am burdened by the past because I shot an innocent man. It says I put him in Boot Hill, which I'm going to assume is like a cemetery.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And he I love that he wasn't quite as guilty as he seemed, which like just gives me the chance that maybe he was a little guilty, just a bit. And then I have the keys to the jail, which right now with the mob outside is kind of a bit of a burden. Privileges, like the sheriff, if I try to shoot someone, I shoot him. I don't got to do no negotiation. And because I'm wise, if I reason with the sheriff and they don't listen, I move a favor from an affected faction from his sheet to mine. So I can nab a favor from them.
Interesting. Okay. So let me just ask briefly. Do you know this person you shot? Is this the same that sort of the suitor of Lindsay? Is this the same person?
I mean, that would be cool if it was. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we can make this part up basically.
Yeah, I'm way good with that. Like, let's put as many romantic complications and triangles as we can in this.
When you are ready, please provide me with a name for this person.
Jeremiah Smith?
Oh, sure. We can go with that. That's just fine. Just in case it comes up. Okay.
IGM, I can come up with names like this.
This is good. Awesome. Okay, so Lee, what is your burden and your privileges?
So my burden is the burden of the lender. Many of the townsfolk have outstanding bills at your store. If several of them were to refuse to pay, it would bankrupt you. And then my privilege, when you attempt to convince a player to do something for the good of the town, they do not listen, choose one. They lose a favor with a faction watching, or you gain a favor with a faction watching.
Cool. And over to Thomas. Tell us your burden and your privileges.
So my burden of the deal. Thomas got a damn good deal, quote, buying some of the stock the outlaws had previously rustled. Many suspect this, but few know for sure.
That is so good.
I think my person who suspects me very much suspects that Carolina.
Yeah.
My privilege is because I'm tough as old leather, I can ignore one wounded consequence.
That is impressive because there's not a lot of that to go around. Very cool. And finally, James, what's your burden and your privileges?
Okay, so my burden is burden of the brother. God, that is really Cain and Abel if I haven't heard anything about it. Your brother is one of the outlaws the posse brought in. Many in town think you'll sympathize with him and your old gang. Mm-hmm. Rightfully so. I want to see how long it'll take me to become a murder hobo in this game.
We'll find out. Start the clock now.
As for my privileges, because I'm a former bad man, when I attempt to inflict violence, I succeed without negotiation. And because of my relationship with my brother, when I interact with him only, I get to gain or lose a favor with the outlaw faction.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. When you interact solely with him, you may choose not to gain or lose favor. Okay, yeah. So if something happens where you would gain favor with him, or something happens where you would lose favor with him, if you're only interacting with your brother, then you get to ignore that if you so choose. Is basically how that is worded. Okay. I asked folks once again to read these out just so that A, so that they're somewhere in my head, and B, when they leave my head, you can remind me, because these aren't necessarily things we're going to be trying to drive necessarily everything toward, but if we hit them, we hit them. Okay. So, the person who died in the robbery was significant to every one of the characters for one reason or another. We need to know, it says, who was this person? Were they young or they old? What was their position in town? And how will the town be different with them gone?
You know, it makes more sense for that to be the person Lindsay was in love with, because Lindsay I have a favor with, and if I killed her love, then probably I wouldn't.
Well, we haven't
or I'm
decided.
Just that attractive.
Well, this is the interesting thing, is because we haven't really. This is, I think, someone who was. No, this is the thing. This is one of the reasons that these outlaws are imprisoned, is that this was probably someone who was on the stagecoach. So one of these outlaws probably killed them, at least. So, do we know who this person is? Do we have a name for this person?
Just make up a random name?
Sure, absolutely.
Can it be maybe it was a young person, maybe somebody who had a lot of promise, and that's one of the reasons why the townsfolk are gathering now and have strong feelings about this?
Like, this is the kid who made good, the one who was like on his way to big things, who made the town look good. Yeah.
Wait, coming to town or leaving town?
I would think like leaving town to go to college or something. Like,
yeah.
Oh, that's so tragic.
You know?
Making it especially heartbreaking.
Or they were coming back from their first semester.
Yeah, he wouldn't be working in the coal mines like the rest of us.
Oh, he was our town promise, and we were sending him off.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he
So,
caught a bullet to the heart.
Was coming to visit.
so he went to Bright City, maybe that's where he was doing education, and then was coming back home to visit, and then they were on the stagecoach.
Yep.
He was on the stagecoach.
No, I'm just saying, like, what are we gonna call him?
Well, yeah, y'all were saying he, so
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll go he.
What name haven't we used? Let's see.
I think the last name Silversmith is pretty good. Someone else wants to come up with a first name.
Nice.
Silversmith.
Well, I already did Jeremiah, so it could be Isaiah. I like to be biblical. We've got a Cain and Abel reference. Like, let's just go all Bible all the way.
Isaiah Silversmith?
Isaiah Silversmith.
All right.
But we all called him Lil Sil.
Boo.
Are there big sills? Is there a big sill?
Oh, there's definitely a big Sil.
Okay.
No, I boo you. I boo you.
What, just out of curiosity, Silversmith's parent or parents, are they, I guess we'll just treat them as townsfolk. We don't actually have a lot of townsfolk NPCs listed. Well, we've got what, 2. Actually, yeah, we could go either way with them. We could make Isaiah Silversmith. One of their parents, are they a townsfolk, a merchant, or a politician? Or an outlaw. They could be an outlaw. But...
Maybe one townsfolk, and one, I don't know, merchant or politician. But what else do we not have? We have like a banker. Like that's why he's a silversmith.
I like banker.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. Yeah. So the we could treat the banker as either a because actually if they were getting ready to have a bank here, that means something. There's money nearby. So maybe this was so maybe they're either is the banker the mother or father?
The mother.
Okay.
Gonna flip a coin that I didn't have any.
Sure. And she's preparing. She owns a site where there is perhaps silver somewhere. And she's basically now she can find. It was in the process of setting up a bank in town, but it's not close enough for there to be a boom yet. Because otherwise this town would be incredibly bigger. But we can treat her as either a townsfolk or a...
It seems like a merchant.
Yeah, it seems
person.
if you're opening the first bank, that's pretty merchant.
That is mercantile. Yeah,
I would say it's sort of aspirational, this bank, at this point.
It is. It probably is.
Their last name used to be Woodsmith. They found the silver, so then they changed
there we
it
go.
to
Yeah.
be Silver.
that's how that works, right?
Yeah.
Yes. They moved here to start fresh as the Silversmiths.
Does anyone have a first name for her? If not, I will.
Are we going Esther? Are we still sticking to
Esther. Esther. Yes.
Can we do Jacobed? Is that too much of a deep cut?
That's a real deep cut.
So Esther, okay, that's good. All right,
you can
awesome.
Get a Nicodemus in here, like.
So Isaiah Silversmith died in the robbery. Young, promising fellow was coming home to visit his parents, and one of whom was setting up a bank in town. And I have to ask each character individually this question, so each of you need to answer this question to me. And repetition is fine here if need be. But the question is, what personally upset you about Isaiah Silversmith's death? And I am going to be recording the answers to that. So again, we will start with the sheriff.
Okay, I'm still thinking about it.
Or we could start with the deputy if you would prefer.
I can go.
Okay, if you're ready, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He was an innocent, and I'm a little sensitive to whole, like, innocence getting shot thing. That's a little close to home.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. And Lee.
Pretty similar. You know, he was young and promising. He was going to help really bring something to the town. And also now there's the risk that his mother will be distraught. She'll be upset with being here. She may change her plans about opening that bank here in town, which would maybe potentially put us behind.
Yes. All right. And Thomas.
Two things. One, a little worried business-wise, because if this is retaliation against the Outlaws, that's a big part of Thomas's income. And two, that little silversmith was better than everyone else in town because he managed to do something no one else did, which was get out.
Awesome. And Grant, what upset you about Isaiah's murder?
He was just a really good kid, and I taught him some cool coin tricks that he was gonna,
Oh man,
you know, show him how to, like, you know, be more sociable, because he was really a quiet kid in the sense that,
yeah,
and he kind of kept to himself. He was always studying because his mom always made him study.
oh man,
And you know, I kind of turned him into a friend, and he's dead now.
oh man. Okay. And Sheriff, do you have an idea now?
Yeah, I think Lil Still was going to Bright City to study up to be a doctor, and maybe was going to help a lot of people. And so I find that to be a terrible loss.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. So, and I am to read this paragraph to you. Each of you will play a character and say what they do. And as the judge, I will tell you what happens in reaction to what your character does, depending on the fiction and your character's favor with different groups. If your action is upon another player's character, you must negotiate with them. The acted upon player will state a price to make your action true. You may accept, refuse, or continue to negotiate. Negotiations must make sense in the fiction. Both mechanical and fictional elements can affect negotiations and may be offered as part of them as well. All right.
So all violence all the time.
Gotcha. Okay. This will be a very short episode. All right. So now that we've gone over all that, we are actually going to we're going to start up our narrative here. So it is. I'm going to say that it is night falling, as you have all successfully managed to imprison these three outlaws. You've got until 3:10 tomorrow, 3:10 in the afternoon, to keep them safe until the train comes through, which will take them to Bright City. It is, you have a point here where you have a few townsfolk who have already kind of collected, there's kind of just sort of sitting outside watching. You know that they are not terribly loved in this town. You also, like I said, know that probably only one of them actually was the one that shot Isaiah. But you know, it's an issue. After you heard that the coach got taken out, and the lockbox has not been recovered. I'm going to say. So the lockbox was not in the coach. And so, as you see these people sort of standing kind of vulture-like, it's kind of outside, hanging out. What are you all doing?
And we're all in the sheriff's office, correct?
That's right. You're all at the sheriff's office right now.
I guess I want to start with going to the prison cells. I want to talk to my brother.
Okay.
I'll come watch this. I want to hear what they have to say.
All right. So so Grant and Aida are heading inside,
Yeah.
and
So the rest of us are outside. We're outside the.
yeah, you're out sort of on the porch, and you basically sort of across the sort of like at the saloon and the some of the the little building next to the saloon. You basically have people there. They're kind of like they don't have torches and pitchforks yet, but they're looking rather askance, rather expectantly.
I've got way more pull with the outlaws than the townsfolk, so I'm also going to go inside to listen to this conversation.
Awesome, excellent.
Ruining them plans.
I'm standing pretty far back though, because I got the keys, so I don't want to be nowhere close to any of the bars.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Being careful.
I got some snide marks for you if you do.
I'm just watching and listening. So far.
So, as you come in, Billy's just sort of Ulysses is kind of sort of rattling the bars as you're kind of heading up to talk to him. James, he's just like shaking his head. Oh, it's the trader. Hey, how's it going?
Billy, you shut the fuck up right now and you listen to me real good. I got some questions for you. What the hell happened?
Oh. You didn't, weren't able to figure it out from the coach.
No, it's not about the coach. Why was there a dead kid? That's what I have the problem with. The rules were simple. We get in, we get out, get the money, that's it. No one has to die. Suddenly out of nowhere, I'm hearing news that the Isaiah kid, out of all people, dies, catches a bullet? Seriously?
Sometimes folks are in the wrong place at the wrong time, that's all I know.
You don't understand, stupid. That kid's mom was gonna open up a bank here. That bank means more money, means more hits, means we would have been set. Now your dumbass over here sitting in this cell with a bunch of angry people outside. So do not tell me wrong place, wrong time, wrong person. That's not how this works. So tell me what you know, and maybe I could probably help you out.
Yeah. Just basically, let me see. Also, there is a chart that I need to look at whenever you demand things or ask for things from different factions. So let me make sure I'm there. Okay. And he just sort of as you're saying this, or he's just sort of shrugging. He's like, he says, I mean, what I know is, that bank was supposed to go up. That ain't what this. What? Ain't no good trying to change who runs things around here. People try to come in with their, trying to set up their stakes. You know who's in charge. You've always known who's in charge, even if you don't want to believe it right now.
Look, I know who's in charge, but the man is well smart enough to know that at least with more business means more lined up for his pockets. And now you literally shot that chance out the window.
And he says, "Yeah, it's a tragedy, but it's what is it? What is it you're always saying? He sort of looks over his shoulder at
Trevor or Mabel?
Trevor. He's like, "This too shall pass." And Trevor's not saying anything. Trevor's just in the corner, just like, be quiet, Billy.
So Aida has been leaning against the wall, arms crossed, and now she stands up straight and she goes, so you're saying that Duke ordered this?
I'm gonna turn to the deputy and be like, "Don't you got my girlfriend to fawn over?" I'm going in for it.
Maybell is just kind of at this point who's been just sort of pacing in one side of the cell. That just sort of looks over, rather sharply at that.
I give James like a look of death, just snake eyes, and then I turn to Mabel. And I say, "Don't make it harder on yourself than you have to.
And
if it was Duke, let's pin this on Duke."
She was more. No, it weren't Duke. Besides, you know what he'd do if we tried to do that.
He gets himself hanged. He's not going to do nothing to you.
No. What ends up happening is the rest of his group comes in and basically salts the earth of this town. That's what happens. So we're gonna leave good old Duke boy over there alone. We're not gonna bring him into this. I want this handled quietly, and at best, diplomatically.
I don't know that's going to be your choice.
Deputy, do not tempt me.
We're already PvP.
Yeah. And actually, she's going to be looking. Thomas is in here as well, right?
Yeah.
Is
Yes.
that right? Okay. So Maybell is just sort of glances over at is still looking at Aida. She says, sort of is leaned forward. Is it true? Is it true? Do you got a girlfriend?
She ain't my girlfriend. She's been James' girlfriend on and off. She's a daughter of my godmom. We've been raised together. She's like a sister.
Sounds complicated. And she just sort of leans back and is just sort of shaking her head, and then her eyes fall on Thomas. For a second, just like significantly for just a second, and then they go, and then her eyes drop again.
Some things are complicated, hun. Some things aren't so much. Some things don't have to be. Just tell us what happened.
And she's just she's just sort of looking down, and she's like just sort of shaking her head.
You take a minute. You think about it while that mob gathers up outside. Just think about rebel. You just think about it for a bit, but don't take too long.
I mean, and that sort of Ulysses just sort of looks around, you know, and just sort of says to Maybell, come on, you come on, you know he's gonna get us out of this. She's like, stops, and she also has fallen silent and is going to another corner of the cell.
I'm gonna slap Ulysses upside the head.
Violence. Okay. I mean, there's I don't think there's anything unless someone stops you. I don't think there's really anything they can do about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you basically you slap him and he's like
And I'm gonna grab him by the collar and I'm gonna have him look me dead in the eyes and be like, is this really how you're gonna have your goddamn life, like all the damn time, having people bail you out? Huh? So like, remember how mom bailed you out? Dad will bail you out? Uncle Thomas would try to bail us out. Now look what happens. Now you want to depend on Duke. When are you gonna learn that you have to start doing your own things, start making your own moves instead of depending on good old Duke over there?
And he just sort of looks at me and he says, well, let's see. How much would you tell? He's not going to tell you a huge amount, but he'll say, he ain't going to. And, well, for one thing, for one thing, I learned real good is which side to be on. I know who's got the power.
I know a new word that I learned. Expendable. And that's what you're gonna be real soon when Duke learns about this and he makes that choice to either leave you hanging dry.
Always talking unmuted. If he was as powerful as you thought, James here wouldn't be standing here alive, would he?
He just sort of snorts at that. He says, maybe, or maybe he just likes to see the two of us get into it.
Well, that's a great boss. Totally get why you're loyal to him. That makes total sense.
He shrugs.
I need a drink. You know what? I'm gonna try the best I can to help you. But I can't promise you anything. But honestly, your best, because I don't like the idea of seeing you hanging. I would really like it if you would just tell them what you know. That way, at best, you could be just banished rather than being dead and I gotta bury you just like I did with mom and dad.
Are you, well, let's see, yeah. You got something to, I mean, you got something real to offer, brother?
I don't know what you want. I could try my best to get it.
He just sort of is looking over his shoulder. Yeah. And,
we could probably get someone to give you like a whole bunch of cattle feed or maybe some steaks.
and then they look at each other and it's like, or actually he looks over at, oh, hey, you hear that, Trevor? Steak?
Yeah, either that or we could keep you from getting hanged by a mob. I mean, one or the other. It's up to you.
And they're
So is that
they're
what you
gonna
want?
say, can we just sort of saying, can we mind if we have a little private chat about it?
Oh yeah, jail privacy. That's a thing.
And he,
Deputy, step off. Just go away in the other room. Don't you got paperwork you need to fill out anyway?
You know this is my territory, right? Outside the cell's my territory. Inside was yours. You're in my territory now.
So far, I don't respect it. So like how I don't like it when you constantly having those damn eyes on Carolina.
and
Don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I see you.
Yeah, I never left her to get nabbed by no sheriff, did I? I never left her out in the dark zone. running and scared. So let's just put that outside of here right now, and let's deal with what we got in these jail cells and what we got across the street.
I'll take you outside.
Oh, you are welcome to try. We're just gonna all kill each other. It's just gonna be like
great.
one.
It's gonna be awesome.
Giant.
At this point, I think I'm just trying to figure out how that. Billy, this way. Ulysses just sort of at this point, he's crossed his arms. He says, "All right, you want to leave someone in here with us? Leave the old man in here with us." And he's gesturing to Thomas. He can assure that we don't say anything too rash.
It's like,
Alrighty.
I can do that.
I got you. Alrighty, Thomas. I find out that you didn't tell us what they said, true and honest. You're going to be in that cell too. You got that? I don't want to make you no accessory.
Understood.
I'll wait for James, though. I'm not leaving without James.
We're going to quickly go outside for a moment to see what's happening outside. As Sheriff and Lee, as the Sheriff and Lee are out there, you've got you've seen this small crowd. It's not a huge crowd yet. It's just a crowd, maybe like half a dozen people right now have been hanging out there outside, just kind of watching. Lindsay is in the doorway of her saloon, just her arms crossed, watching. You see Jasper Phelps is also hanging out there, just sort of watching and waiting, seeing what's going to happen. What are you doing?
Well, I'll glance over at Lee and say, I think I might need to talk to these folks before any trouble happens. That all right with you?
Lee looks over. He's like, I think you should. We're going to have trouble real soon if you don't manage to get these people in line.
So I'll stride over to the edge of the porch and clear my throat. And I'll do that thing, that people do and kind of massage my gun. And then I say, all right, folks of Seco Creek, y'all listen up for a minute here. I'm talking to you, Jasper and Morgan and Carolina and Cornbread and Big Mac, and you too, Little Mac, and all 7 of you McClanklins. I see y'all out there, and Sissy Q. I'm talking to you too. Oh, and Auntie Lydia, you too. And Little Pumpkin, I see you out there. I'm talking to all y'all. So I want y'all to listen up
I can't
to
keep
the
up.
sheriff.
Outside of the game, do you just want to call out the Earp family while you're at it too?
Sorry, go ahead.
Tomboy.
I could just sit here and listen to her make up names. That's just right there. It's perfect.
Sunflower Millie. You all.
So after you finish roll call, we're going to we quickly skip ahead to the end of roll call.
So y'all are all here because you care about this town and you care about what happens in this town. And I know you're feeling some kind of way because I'm feeling some kind of way too. But let me just tell you, ain't no justice when we just pop off and do things without thinking about it first. So what I'm going to ask y'all to do is what I ask you to do every day. I'm going to ask you to trust me. to figure out what's right and look after this here town. Are y'all with me? I'm talking to you, Sunflower Millie and John Boy and all 7 McClanklins. I'll go through the roll call again.
We have another brief break in the film, and then it comes back. Oh my god. So let's see. They're just like mostly shrugging right now and at what you're saying. You do know. You do note that I mean they're listening, but it is more or less at this point that as they're looking over. Carolina's in the crowd, has come up, and she is saying that they're Sheriff. As long as they're in here, this town is in there. This town's in danger, and you know what's going to happen.
You're not wrong, Carolina.
You know what's going to happen when they go to town. They're just going to get off again.
You're damn right I know what's going to happen, Carolina. What's going to happen is we're going to send these folks off to a fair trial, and things are going to be handled fairly, and people who are going to get what they deserve. That's what's going to happen, Carolina.
Like, Lee sort of laughs and looks over at the sheriff. Like, you decide today is the day you're going to draw a hard line in the sand, Sheriff?
I'm looking around. Where's this line? Where's the sand?
Exactly. You've had such a soft approach to any crime in town. No wonder no one believes anything you're saying.
I can see why you're confused, Lee. I try to give you the benefit of the doubt, but I don't really care what happens to folks' money. I care what happens to folks.
You can care about both things, Sheriff.
I could, but I don't.
Well, thanks for clearing that up.
Not a problem. I pretty much say it every night over at the tavern, so I'm pretty sure all these fine folks could probably repeat my talking points to you.
I think at this point I'm gonna start stepping outside. I want to see what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, there is rather a lot. Yeah. So and I do just want to ask briefly, if the deputy is also stepping outside.
Muted.
The deputy is muted.
Every time. I'm gonna step outside, but I don't think the walls and the doors are super thick in this jail. I don't know. But I'm gonna stand right outside the door, lean against the wall, and see if I can hear what goes on in the cell.
Gotcha.
And if I don't, I'm just gonna wait there.
I do have a booming voice, so you can no doubt hear me through the thin door to the jail.
Oh yeah, but I've heard you do this roll call and this speech like a million times. I just tuned out.
So this leaves Thomas alone in the cell, in the prison, in the office with the outlaws, and we will discover what they're talking about in just a moment. But we're going to take a quick break, as we have sailed past the halfway point here, and we're going to take a quick break, and during which there will be an interview played, and then we will be back to find out what is in fact going on. We will see you shortly. Hey folks, welcome to the break. Simon is here with us to talk to us about some stuff that he has been working on. Hello.
Hello.
You have come out with a module recently, have you not? Fell Deeds in Fellfair Grove?
Yes, a 5th edition, D&D 5th edition adventure for a second level party, 2nd to 4th. It's the first book in what I call the By Raven Chronicles. It's basically a series of 3 modules that take players from 2nd to 10th level.
Very cool. So it's like all 3 are contained in the one product?
No, right now this is the
Okay.
first part, and
Okay,
then
gotcha.
I am almost done writing the second part, and I got the draft of the third part already laid out.
Very cool. So you're doing a trilogy. That's awesome.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit what you can, without spoiling anything, about this adventure. What's it about?
So, Felldeeds in Felfair Grove is first and foremost an adventure about overthrowing a tyrant and restoring a semblance of order to a small frontier town called Bromwich. So, of course, that being the general goal of the adventure, when the characters begin the adventure, they do not know that yet. They've been hired by the ruler of a town, a man by the name of Holden Garrett. Woof, I'm starting to forget the name of my own NPCs. And he's looking for missing lumberjacks. Basically, Bromwich is a logging town on the northern edge of the kingdom of Byraven, and people have gone missing. And so the players start investigating what happened to the lumberjacks, and some of the things that happen in the course of book 1 might not have answers yet. Some of the things in the adventure are somewhat answered, but I have like sidebars here and there that says like, oh, by the way, this is done on purpose because you'll find the answers in book 2 or book 3, because everything is tied together. So of course you can make up, if you just want to get Felldeeds and start a campaign with it, you can make up your own answers to these things. But if you play the whole trilogy, you will see what happens or what's been happening in the background.
Very cool. Very cool. Did you have a particular world in mind when you set this up, or is it more sort of an its own world thing, or?
It's so because I didn't want to have it released on the DM's Guild, specifically for intellectual property issues.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to make a completely generic place. So I made a completely generic place. It's a small, European sort of inspired country, something that you could easily wipe and replace with your own. One thing that I did enjoy doing is at the end of the first book, I've added an appendix where you have a list of all the gods that feature in the adventures. So I created these, again, sort of generic gods, though I did have to give them some sort of myth and origin stories and domains associated with them, so that way I could, substitute the, let's say, gods of, for example, the Forgotten Realms with these ones instead, and make sure that I don't step on anyone's toes.
Yeah, no, that's cool though, because then that makes it just so much easier to slot into any world you want to.
Oh yeah.
Kind of thing, yeah.
Be it homebrew. I've actually taken the adventure and adapted it to my homebrew world, which is weird because when I wrote it, I didn't write it for my homebrew world. So I switched things around a bit, and it wasn't that complicated. It could easily be placed, in Eberron, in the Forgotten Realms, and just about anywhere that is at least, late Middle Ages, early Renaissance, maybe even up to like almost the Industrial Revolution, so long as lumber is still a very much needed resource.
Well, that's a cool thing about it, because the logging's been happening since time immemorial, and it's still happening now. So you can pretty much throw that wherever you like. So that's pretty cool. That's very neat. Is there anything else about that adventure or the series that you'd like to make sure everybody knows going in, or that they might be interested, might get them interested in picking it up, maybe?
Yes. So one of the things that I did with Felldeeds is that during the game, Overthrowing that tyrant takes place roughly in the second third of the adventure. But one of the main quests of this adventure is to actually find who will replace them. And so I have a stable of NPCs that live in this village, all have their own reasons and all have their own problems, or I should say shortcomings in becoming the rulers of town. So you can actually have either Garrett's son, Ulden, who I'm not going to go into too much details, but yeah, who can be one of the candidates. You have the town's magistrate, a gay dwarf, who actually, in order to help him, you would also have to find their partner, who mysteriously went missing when he started being a little too loud against the ruler of town. Another one is a priestess from a local temple. And there's also the local herbalist. And at worst, the players can side with the current tyrant. If you want to play the game as evil characters, you can. The game is not designed, and I have a sidebar that specifically states as such. Like, it's possible, but you might have to do a little work on your end as a DM. And you could even nominate a player. Though ruling a town is pretty much a full-time job, you might as well retire that character. Now, what happens is, depending on who the leader is, and the conclusion of the first adventure of the first volume, you see certain changes come about. Bromwich. Then when the second adventure begins, whoever you chose will impact the help that is given to the party for their second quest. And even in the third adventure, again, that choice will impact the town. So sometimes what you might think was the best choice might have just been a short-term solution.
Interesting. That's very interesting. And also, as you've been describing this, it's actually started to... I actually have just a couple of little thoughts, little ideas are starting to come to me as how if I would adapt this to one or two particular types of settings. So that's always a great sign.
Good.
Whenever anything does that to my noggin, because it sometimes it takes a bit to get going. So that's very cool. So if folks wanted to hunt this down online, where should they go?
They should go on DriveThruRPG. It's also in my pin tweet at wandering_DM. On DriveThruRPG, if you search Fell Deeds in Felfair Grove, or probably just Felfair Grove, FELFAIR space GROVE, you'll find the adventure there. And if not, just send me a message on Twitter. I'll send you the link.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming and talking to us about this, man.
Thank you very much for having me.
Take care, folks, and we will see you in a bit. We have returned, and we are going to check out some things. Some favor has shifted around a little bit because of things that happened in the last scene. As we as we proceed, and we're going to as a little time has passed, but it's still evening. It's still nighttime. But we are in the inside. We are going to go inside the sheriff's office, where Duval is alone with the prisoners. Before this happens, though, there is a negotiation that needs to happen, because the deputy wants to be able to overhear what it is that they're saying. So that's a negotiation that needs to happen between the deputy and between the player of the deputy and the player of Thomas, as to how you want to. How you want to handle that, and if you're going to receive any, if anyone's going to is going to either gain or lose favor as a result, or if anyone is going to end up with an additional kind of burden as a result. What do we think?
I feel like Thomas would gain a favor with me if he turned a blind eye to me listening in.
Well,
Oh, that's definitely a favor lost to me then. That happens.
Well,
I mean, the idea would be that he doesn't know, but I think this is more interesting. So.
well, the favor is between factions more than anything
okay,
else.
gotcha.
It's between them and the faction. But I mean, that's always a possibility.
So a deputy favor be what? Merchant faction? Townsfolk faction?
It's a good question.
I mean,
right?
or we can be like casual about it and just say, I owe you a favor. I owe you one. Yeah.
Basically, any number of things are on the table, including things.
I'll turn a blind eye next time something comes up about your potential connections.
What connections? I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no clue.
Exactly.
I know what goes around. It's gonna get to me. When I find out about this, you might find a bullet in the leg.
Let me go over a negotiation real quick on my. Let me look at negotiation real quick while I'm setting this up, just so that I can see here. So favor, you can include changes in favor, consequence, fictional positioning, or even future promises. So like, it's really, I said burden, but it's really like a consequence. A consequence would be a thing like a wound, or a consequence could be a thing like a thing where it's like, I am seen as this, or people consider a certain thing about me. It's like a tag, basically, gets put on you as a consequence. So first off, the question is for Jesse. Do you want? Are you okay? Are you just okay with them listening in, or do you want to extract some sort of consequence on the deputy if you allow it? What do you think?
If I'm not entirely sure on the rules, but could I have, if I do something to allow the deputy to hear it, could I ask for a specific thing from them? So, like, my idea being, if I do something so that makes it easier for them to listen, but then if I get a consequence later in the game, I can pass it off to them.
Ooh, well, yeah, you could totally negotiate that as a thing, but that's
What kind of consequences do you get in the game?
It's kind of like it's like a brief descriptive tag. It's like a brief thing. So wounded is a consequence for one example, but then you also have consequences like you also have consequences like say bully is another thing. It's like a descriptive phrase, a descriptive word.
Oh
or a
yeah,
descriptive phrase.
you can deflect a bad rep on me. I already have a bad rep. I'm good with that.
It's
so like bad rep.
I would say it's the consequence of my choice.
Yeah, but I'm not taking wounded, so I'd rather not hear.
So how about a non-physical consequence? Would that,
non-physical consequence. I'm good with.
All right, so anything but wounded. How's that work?
That works.
Okay.
All right. Anything? Presumably also bleeding out. That's the other one.
Non-physical consequence.
All right. So then in that case, that being the case, you'll be able to overhear this.
Okay, so bleeding and wounded are the only two. Every other consequence is...
Well, in wounded you could survive.
Right.
Bleeding out. Yeah, I'll take everything but bleeding out. Anything but death. I'm not dying over this conversation.
I know, you keep tacking more and more on. I'm just saying.
I just expanded it. You can wound me if you want to.
Yeah,
Okay.
I understand here.
My Bowie knife.
When I'm mentioning these things, I'm just clarifying so that everyone will understand what the what you're working from.
All right. So a consequence that is not the condition wounded.
Not the condition bleeding out.
Or bleeding out.
Yeah, I'll take a bullet, but I don't want to die of it.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Cool. So Thomas, you're in the you're in there alone, but you're kind of aware that you'll sort of see that the deputy is kind of looking in, so you realize that this conversation isn't going to be completely quiet, but at the same time, there are ways you can leverage this if need be.
Yeah. So I noticed it was cracked, and I don't say anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, basically you have they're sort of in there looking around. They're like, Uncle Thomas, you want to get like a? Is there any chance you can sort of? I know Bill's outside somewhere. You want to get a message to Duke?
It's like, well, that depends. Like, any of y'all know math?
They glance at each other briefly, and the you kind of are just sort of looking over at Trevor. Just sort of looks up. Yeah.
I was like, good. And he goes to the window and pulls the like curtain open a little bit, purposefully going to have it bunch up on the side of the window that's open to keep that from being seen. And just opens that up and is like, you got an entire town folk worth of people out there ready to hang you. You got one sheriff, one deputy, 6 bullets apiece. That's assuming they're even gonna shoot. No way to stop them. Either y'all say what happened, or you ain't gonna see the morning.
So they look at each other again, and let me go back to there. Where is it? Here we go.
And how do well, go ahead. Sorry, and then I'll ask a question.
I just had to check I checked based on your level of current level of favor how they would react to this. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine. I had a question, but I can wait.
Okay. They're like, as they're looking around, they're like, Maybell will come forward. What if I can at least give him the lockbox? Will that do something?
Which person said that?
That's Maybell.
Like, big lockbox will help. Ain't gonna stop the hanging though. That kid's still dead. Someone's gonna pay for that, or all y'all are gonna pay for it. Nothing I can do.
And she looks over at Ulysses, and is just basically saying, they're gonna kill all of us. You know that.
They will. I mean, I will.
Yeah, we know. And he's like, okay then, Ulysses says, just is like he's angrily shaking his head. Fine, you know what? Maybe just let him kill me. If they let if you two can, you can go. I'll say I did it.
Rather selfless for a criminal.
And Trevor just sort of looks up and says, "Don't you dare!" Not at you, but at Ulysses. And yeah. Sort of shaking his head. It's like, well, I mean, it's either. Well, it's either two of us can eventually get free, or it's either two of us get free, or none of us does. It's the way you're making it sound here.
It's like, so why are you willing to take the drop for someone else? Because it ain't you.
And he says, "No, because yeah, but I ain't a good person. You know that. And I mean, James is right. I ain't going nowhere. I'm just going to be doing the same things over and over again till the end. Better for people who have futures to have those futures. I don't know.
Noble thought. Dumb, but noble.
I mean, unless you can think of unless you got, I'm sure if, we can, I'm sure Duke's going to send some folks in the morning, if nothing else. I mean, if you just let them know.
Lets out a really hoarse chuckle when he says morning. He's like, might. You ain't gonna see him coming by then. Mob ain't gonna wait that long. Okay. Start, and then also, I don't know if roll for this or something, or use a favor. Start looking out the window a little more, and like kind of making faces like, ooh, that looks scary. People like trying to drum up their imagination on the section of it they can't see.
Yeah. And they're just sort of like, because they're, again, they listen to you. They're gonna be like, well, I mean, you got a suggestion that might keep us alive longer?
Be like, the box and a name. It's all these people want.
He's just like, and at this point, Mailbell comes forward. Do you think the box would buy us till morning?
Ooh, man, that's a good question. Thomas just kind of shrugs, like, kind of a, not gonna say no, but hinting at no. Yeah, might be a bit of a distraction, but
And it's like, maybe actually, and you can see Mailbell's thinking. I mean, we'd only need a distraction just long enough to, if there would be a way to get the key in here.
ooh, it's extra fun because I know the person with the key can hear all this.
Yeah.
Just another kind of shrug.
And so they're just sort of looking at each other, and they're like, they're at this point. It's like you can tell that they're not. That you've got them a little scared, but they're not quite. They're not quite thus far, it's been all fairly non-committal. You can tell that unless you can either promise them something solid, or at least a little more solid, they're probably not going to give up who it was. But they might give up the box.
Okay. Slight meta question. Are we more interested in the box or who killed? Or does it matter?
I think most of us are more interested in
What's
who
in
killed.
the box?
Fair. That's fair.
I mean, it's a very, very valid question about who killed Isaiah.
Okay.
I think most of us had like a more emotional tie to what happened to Isaiah than what was in the box.
Then I'll say, got enough pull with everybody around here. If we got a name on the person, I know you'd make it to the train. Hell, I'd see it through.
And
that's my plan.
Ulysses looks over, is looking over. He's like, "All right, okay." I mean, you can give him my name. And at this point, Trevor again stands up, and he says, "Don't do this."
I'm gonna try and play off Trevor's emotion on this, and look at Ulysses and be like, "So be it. I'll give him your name," and start walking.
No. And so you're okay. So you're heading outside. Now, meanwhile, back outside, we have the sheriff and Lee and the deputy and James. They're outside. You see that a number of the townsfolk have now begun to pick up pieces of wood a little bit. They're just sort of casually carrying them. They're not really necessarily wielding them in a violent fashion. But they're now kind of picking up 6 out of 7 McClankins are now carrying sticks of some kind, and there's someone who's brought their vicious dog with them to.
That's right.
I always said that 7th McClanklin was the one with the most sense, though.
Yes, that's correct.
At this moment is Lucy there? Is Lucy there?
Who are we asking about?
The sheriff?
No.
I am Lucy.
Nope. Hey, wrong.
Nope.
Wrong character.
Lindsay?
Yeah, there we go. Is Lindsay there?
Oh.
Lindsay? Yeah, Saloon Keeper's right across the street.
All right. I'm gonna go over to Lindsay
Okay.
and I'm gonna ask for a bottle of their best whiskey.
So you head over to Lindsay. She's and she says, "Well, I guess you." She says, "Well, I mean, you think it's gonna help?"
It's more for my brother than it is for those more on the town folk. They just don't want to give him a chance. He's simple. That's all that it is. He's not that smart to come up with a plan like this. So none of these town folks, I might as well just give him his last drink before they hang him or kill him or whatever.
All right. Well, I guess there's. Well, I mean, there's. I guess there's sense in that. That's. I mean, I ain't gonna give you I ain't gonna waste the best whiskey on it, but I can get you a bottle.
I'll take like 5th grade whiskey if you got. I don't care.
All right. She goes in.
Might be his last drink, but let's just, okay, let's make it crap.
He's still a goddamn moron. So.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't have very good taste in whiskey anyway.
He's like, he's not gonna remember it anyway. It's
Yeah.
fine.
That's so bad for him.
She goes in and she goes in to get and gets a bottle for you. What is anyone else doing anything, or are you just sort of hanging out and watching?
Is the mayor here?
The mayor is currently, I think. Let's see. I feel as though the mayor is probably hanging out is probably hanging out by the church at this point. So is perhaps within hailing distance. Won't be able to hear from here because I think the mayor does not officially want to hear what's going on. But doesn't seem to be doing anything to stop what's happening.
Okay. Did we establish that Carolina is here and Morgan are both here, right?
Yeah, everyone's within hailing distance at this point.
Hey, Carolina, Morgan. Let me talk to you both.
So Morgan will stumble over, sort of suspiciously, and Carolina will walk over.
Hey, listen. I think we need to do all we can do to avoid more bloodshed here today. There's nothing this town needs less than another round of violence tonight. So I plan on deputizing you two so that you can help keep everything peaceful here tonight.
Carolina just sort of looks over at. She's like, I don't want any violence to happen tonight, but it's going to happen.
Well,
and
it don't have to, Carolina.
Morgan's just sort of kind of shaking his head and is like, I don't want to get between them folk and them folk right now because that looks like that would hurt a lot.
Well, I wouldn't recommend that you get in between them. I'd recommend you try and get people to do something else. You want to do some redirection. Carolina knows what I'm talking about. This is some pedagogical talk. Let's get them doing something else.
And she's just basically at this point, she's like, "You've got a deputy who you don't seem to be employing to the best of her abilities."
Look, Deputy Ada's deputying all over the place. They deputied so hard. She's deputied so hard she disappeared there. So come on, what do you say, Carolina? Let's get it together. Oh, I know. You could do a lesson, maybe something about science. Everybody likes to learn something about science. Maybe some meteorology. That would go down just about right.
She's just shaking her head and looking at you like your head is turned to cabbage. I will tell you, because you have 0 favor, they're going to be actively hostile unless there's something that you can... Unless you offer them something really good, they're probably not going to do what you want them to do.
What could I offer them? Is there anything I could offer them that they would be psyched about?
I don't know. What do you think?
Well, if we could just get through all of this without any violence and not have everything go to absolute hell and back, this town would probably be a lot better for both education and parties, right? Like, you both have a vested stake in this situation. If everything goes to hell and back, I mean, that's your livelihood's on the line too, right?
So, they will, she's just sort of looking around, just sort of like,
Why don't we just
There's
find out what money the banker had in the bank, and then y'all could just split it up amongst yourselves,
They're like-
and y'all could use it
and they're just sort of,
whichever way you wanted.
these being townsfolk are not primarily concerned with money, but they're looking around at each other and they're looking at you, and so,
Let's do some
Jasper says,
redistribution of the wealth.
Jasper says, there's gonna be a there's this fight brewing, and I do not want to get caught in the middle of it. And the fact of the matter is, it's only going to be safe after them is dealt with. He says, pointing to the cell.
Hey, James.
Well, James is currently busy doing a thing, but let me briefly. So you're trying to engage them to get them some, and you feel as though you might have something if you can convince them that it's going to actually be safer to help you than not. But while you're pondering that, actually, I am going to briefly go over to Lee and find out what Lee has been doing. What has Lee been doing?
Lee has decided to approach the mayor over at the church.
Okay. So you have headed over, and so Mayor Clayton is Mayor Clayton Dix is nods to you as you come up and says, "Evening, Miss Owens.
Good evening, Mayor Dix.
How can it looks like it's an interesting evening."
It does, but there's something strangely missing in all of this.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, what do you reckon that is?
You haven't realized that our prime politician has not made a statement regarding the events?
He looks up and so he shrugs. He's like, "Well, seems like anything that I could say right now wouldn't really sway the people in one direction or another. This is a it's a very heartfelt situation they have going on here, and I don't want to be seen to be trying to tell them what's right and wrong in this situation."
You don't think reassurance that their budding town is safe and will be kept safe? We already have the sheriff making a mockery of law enforcement. Do you also want to be in the same position as mayor? Or would you like to make a firm, strong stance and show your people that you're here to lead?
You make an interesting point. I think there is something I could say right now that would probably, I think, speed things along in one direction or the other. And he he nods for a second, and he will says, he goes and he will pick up, he goes and he picks up a, there are all these pieces of wood lying all over the place. He picks up something that's like sort of a longer solid bit of oak, and he says, "Yeah, I just need a moment to prepare." And he will actually go into the back of the church for a few moments. In the meantime, Deputy, you've overheard the conversation that's been going on inside, and you can see James crossing back from the saloon with holding a bottle, and he's going to arrive just as Thomas is exiting the sheriff's office.
Thomas, you come talk to me in the sheriff's office for a minute.
Mm-hmm. He'll follow.
Okay. So James will arrive at the sheriff's office in just a moment, but you have about a minute before James arrives to talk. What do you want to say?
We agreed it was the Grant kid did the shooting.
You like story they're willing to tell?
Well, they want Ulysses. Is that the same one? Is that James's brother, or is the
yeah,
other
Ulysses?
one
Yeah, Billy Ulysses Grant.
Oh, what was the name of the other one?
The other, so you have the three who are in the cells are Trevor Krieg, Maybelle Westcott,
it's Trevor,
and Billy
okay.
Ulysses Grant.
Sorry, I meant, are we agreed it was Trevor?
Is Trevor the one that said I did it?
No, Ulysses is the one who said he was willing to say that he did it. Trevor was the one that was the most upset that Ulysses would do that.
Yes.
So be like, don't think it was that Trevor. Could
I think he's got a guilty conscience.
I think
we
he's got a lot
convince.
guilty about.
I think we convince the one that did the shooting to throw himself on the crowd's mercy, because I think I can stop them from taking him. And in the meantime, while they're distracted, we sneak the other two out.
Ooh, that's good, because Mabel is one of the other two. I'd be like, like, whoever did the shooting ain't gonna matter. It's the one who's willing to fess up. You're gonna need to throw them to the crowd.
It's true, but if we do that, James is going to lose it. If it's Ulysses. If it's the other one, we might have a chance. And I think I have enough pull with the crowd to maybe get them to change their minds about what to do with him. But if it's Ulysses, James is going to lose his shit, and we're not going to have any time at all to convince the crowd of nothing. And we're not going to be able to sneak anybody out because we're going to get busy being shot.
Now, speaking of James, you see him. He is on the stoop of the sheriff's office and is about to enter.
Yeah, Thomas will just say, "Look, you get me the key. I'll get the two you don't pull out. They're out."
Once we get the one to come out to confess, we got to get this plan going at the same time. I'm fine with that.
James is entering the sheriff's office.
James,
What?
we want to get your brother out of this.
I'm listening.
If we can get Trevor, I think Trevor's the one who did it. If we can get Trevor to go out there, throw himself on the mercy of the crowd, and I might be able to at least buy some time and even convince them to spare his life, we sneak the other two out.
The problem
In the
with that,
meantime.
Sheriff, is Trevor's too good as well. Now, who you should really be looking at is Mabel. She's the one that got the crush on you. Throw her to the wolves.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
No, you don't understand, Deputy. My brother goes out there. Even Trevor goes out there. This bottle of whiskey in my hand, it ain't gonna be for consuming.
Oh, you can try to come and hit me with it. I don't care. I'm trying to save 2 of your friends.
I like how
Want them
you think
saved, or
I'm
you
gonna
want them?
I like how you think I'm gonna hit you with it. No, I'm gonna set this whole thing on fire.
With like 1 thing of whiskey. You think that's realistic?
Oh, trust me, it's enough. This building's shit.
All right. I mean, you can keep threatening me instead of trying to plan how to get these people out of here without getting them killed. But I'm sitting here trying to save your friends. What do you want to do? You want to keep threatening me? You want to save your friends?
I would rather you just give me the goddamn key, let my brother go, and we'll never speak of it.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna kind of step up on Grant and just be like, who's more important to you, your brother or the other one?
You know damn well I'm gonna put my brother above anything else.
Then help me get your brother out.
And it's at this moment, James is gonna take a quick moment to think about it, actually take a swig of the whiskey, and he'll agree to it. Only because it's Thomas and not the deputy that he's listening to.
That's what I was hoping for.
Excellent.
Cool.
All right.
So the
Wait, hold
plan
on.
is
So what I was gonna do after that is that I was gonna go back to like the cells, and I want to like to have a small conversation with my brother again.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be like, Billy, you listen to me real good.
Oh.
This isn't gonna, what I'm about to tell you right now, it isn't gonna bode well for the rest of them. And then I'm like whispering this to his ear. I'm telling you, like, listen, I came up with a plan, but it only works for you. I can get you out. The others, it's a bit of a crapshoot. Now, if you keep your head down and you be good, this plan might work. And at this point, I'm just gonna be like feeding him a bit of the whiskey to kind of make him a little bit compliant and be like,
okay.
don't be stupid.
Like,
Hopefully he's a lightweight.
yeah, he is. So I'm like,
he's like,
but he likes the taste of it.
he'll drink a little bit. He's like, I don't know. This would be better if at least 2 of us could get out.
Well, the plan is it doesn't look like all 3 of you. 1 is a guarantee. 2, we might be stretching it.
What do you want me to do?
Just don't confess. Just keep quiet, and we'll see if I can get you up from there. If the other 2 give themselves up, like from what I've been hearing, apparently Trevor might be giving himself up. And as much as I do love that boy, I'm willing to make that sacrifice for you.
He looks back at Trevor, and Trevor's just sort of got his arms crossed in the back, and he's like, all right.
So what are we gonna do?
All right,
We're
2 of
gonna-
you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna keep our mouth shut, and we're gonna let Trevor take the fall. That's all. From apparently what the deputy is saying, got enough pull. I'm hoping for at best a bit of a banishment. But you're my main concern.
Don't want to lose him.
I'm gonna lose him too, like I lost the kid. God damn it, Billy. Just tell me who shot off that round. That's all I need to know.
Just sort of looking at each other. Trevor finally at this point stands up and says, "Well, no. You're just talking to. I need to keep remembering. Only you and Ulysses can hear this, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's like, can the two of us? Think you're gonna be able to get the two of us who didn't out of here?
That's basically the plan.
Yeah, it was Trevor. It was an accident. He didn't mean to.
I know, but these town folks, they're mad, they're stupid, and they want blood.
Well, that's as good a cue
fair
as any.
assessment.
I'm going to very briefly now switch outside. So, Sheriff, you've been trying to convince these two townsfolk who kind of despise you right now to try to take up a badge and be helpful here. This will be about the time that you see from behind from coming down the alley between the feed and the saloon. You see a figure carrying a torch, and it is the mayor.
Knew it.
The mayor comes out. He says, "People, I have been rather urged to take a stand here, and I think the time is now to do so. Are we the ones who say what happens here? Or are those... or are those who... or are those up at the ranch who says what happens here?" And they're like, "The time has come for us to act, and I think you know what that means." And they're starting to now, it appears as though, yes, I believe, is it the feed store where the pitchforks are kept? I'm not entirely sure.
Sure, stands to reason.
Yes.
More
Lee's
likely
throwing
than-
them out in the crowd. Grab your
They
pitchfork.
are, well, they're heading, they're starting to head over, perhaps to purchase some pitchforks, or perhaps to pick up some pitchforks. Basically, this crowd is now starting to pick up sticks and what have you, and they're starting to light them. They're starting to go in to head into the feed store and grabbing pitchforks.
I love the idea that this angry mob is gonna like leave money on the counter for it. They're ethical.
No, but pay me, dude, because I have a business and I need this money. Thank you.
Well, are you encouraging their picking up of the pitchforks?
Of course.
All right, then they feel as though they'll.
Of pitchforks.
Then I think they find it reasonable to pay you, or at least have one of them stand behind and kind of like just sort of shell out, just leave some money on your table, and it's like they're just gonna grab them. So you have an angry mob forming now. Sheriff, what are you doing?
I reckon I'm going to go stand in front of the door to the jail. And I'm going to take a fighting stance and have my hand on my weapon.
Okay. Now, just so you're aware, if this entire mob rushes you, this will kill you. You're not going to... You can maybe take some of them out.
I understand that.
Okay.
I do have a key about pulling for the underdog, though.
Oh, cool.
And I'm gonna
Same here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be that still.
Yeah. Any of you have been hitting your keys, you do get an XP every time you hit your key. And I'm kind of on the honor system with that. Feel free to, if you're doing that, you're getting XP and getting potential advances, which are near the back of the character section I sent you, of how that works. If you actually buy off one of your any of your keys, then you get just an advancement right then. If you do what happens, what the buy off condition is.
Well, because I just reviewed it, like making the good of a bad situation, I feel is absolutely what I'm doing. The key of the silver lining.
Okay. Yep. Definitely.
I
Okay.
think at this moment when I'm hearing the sheriff getting into the fighting stance and all this, I'm gonna go outside and I notice there's a mob coming. I'm gonna draw out my pistol as well, but when they get close, I'm gonna have something to say to them.
Awesome. So Sheriff, it appears that James is standing with you at the very least. I'm sorry, Thomas. What were you going to say?
Oh, it's okay. If I can wait, if necessary.
So yeah, angry mob is outside. Everyone is now aware that there is an angry mob outside, led by the mayor. As they seem to, they're basically standing forth, and the mayor says, "Hand them over. Justice must be done now."
Well, you all were worried about your safety about 10 minutes ago, so go ahead and worry a little harder now. Because I'm going to pull out my gun. I'm not going to point it at anybody, but I am going to brandish it.
And at this moment, I just put on my mask on and shit. And I tell them, there you go. And I say this: if any of you come, no, I'm gonna look at the mirror. Look here, you no good line, some bitch. If you come near this house, I'll put a bullet in between your eyes, and I will pick a new mayor myself.
All right, well, I'm not actually sanctioning that, just to be clear. However, I do want to say that I do think we should consider a new election.
Yeah, the new election can start after I put them in the ground.
At least walks forward. I think the new election is for a new sheriff.
Ooh.
So hand over the guilty. Hand over the guilty.
I ain't
Okay,
handing
fine,
over these
fine.
kids without a fair trial.
And I'm just like, I pull out my second revolver, so I got like a good 10 shots. And I'm like, and again, I'm gonna say this, like, you all have pitchforks. I got bullets. Pretty sure I can at least wound some of you. A good portion of you, y'all gonna end up dead. Y'all really want to take that chance with me?
Rather than have outlaws rule this town, yes.
And at this point, the mayor is going to say, You think Isaiah would just take this lion down, knowing that those criminals are going to get off the moment they get on that train?"
Isaiah was a child, and you don't bring the dead into this.
This is all about the dead. All about the dead.
It's about to be. If you all keep acting like this, it's going to be all about the dead.
Lee, you're only about money, so I don't even want to hear from you.
I'm about money in this town, the people in it, our lives, our livelihood. Who are you? Who are you?
I mean, I know that he's a former outlaw and all, but he is talking some sense at junctures from time to time.
Threatening the mayor with bullets, and you stand beside him.
So an interesting thing is happening that I just want to mention that, Grant, when you say that, some of the merchants in the crowd kind of are bleeding toward the back now. They're not bleeding, but they're you know what I mean. They're sort of moving a little.
They got shot.
More to the they're moving more toward the back of the crowd, as though they're like perhaps less committed to doing this at this point. It's mostly townsfolk and politicians. Mostly townsfolk that are the politicians, of course, don't want to be in front, but only one of them is right now. I do want to transition briefly over to back inside and find out what the deputy and Thomas Duval are doing while this heated exchange appears to be escalating.
Well, I'm hoping that we weren't dumb enough to create a jail with no back exit. So what plan is, Thomas, is we're going to go in. I'm going to take Trevor. I'm going to take him out front. I'm going to get him to confess and see if I can get the crowd to back off. You take the other two out the back.
Thomas nods.
Once I get Thomas out of that jail cell, once I get him walking out front, I will slip the key to you. Deal?
He's like, hmm.
And that's what I want to go do.
Well, you have a back door. It's right there on the map.
Yay.
Okay. So, obviously, So yeah, the main point of contention here is just going to be when you so you come to the cell, and you're opening the cell to get how are you approaching this?
Trevor, time has come. I got some pull with the crowd. I want you to go out there. I want you to tell them how it was a mistake. I want you to kneel on the ground and cry your soul out for all of your guilt. Let's see if we can get them to spare your life.
And he's just sort of he's taking that in.
It's your best chance, and it's a best chance for your friends.
If they go free.
That's the plan. I nod to Thomas. He's going to take care of that part. You can trust him.
Okay.
I'm going to unlock the cell, grab him by the arm.
Maybell is trying to no, don't, and he's like, no, damn it.
Pull him away. And as I'm nearing the door to get him outside, I'll pass the key over to Thomas.
Okay. Thomas now has the key. So, there is... So there is out front this sort of there's a lot of snarling and barking of townsfolk outside, and into this light, into the now bright torchlight of the evening, comes Deputy Marquez leading one of the prisoners.
Trying to get my dog to shut up.
Oh,
Out I walk with Trevor.
Trevor Krieg. Yep.
And I kind of push to get him to kneel on the ground. And I have pull with the mayor, with Caroline, and with Lindsay. So I'm going to look each of those in the eye one at a time,
Right.
and say, let this man speak for himself. We can be judge and jury out here if we need to, but give him a chance to speak his piece before you do anything to it.
And so what is, those of you who are outsides, what is your reaction to that?
I've been crying for action. We got our action. I'll wait. We'll see. I'm ready with my pitchfork, though.
I'm turning that key of silver lining.
Yes, absolutely. What is the sheriff doing? Is the sheriff doing anything in reaction, or are you waiting?
No, I'm maintaining my protective stance in front of Trevor and my deputy.
All right. Trevor is going to kneel down and we'll say, it was an accident. I was firing away from them. He got in the way. I didn't mean to kill him. I'm so sorry. It was all my fault. I was just trying to stop the coach. I wasn't trying to. I didn't want him to die. He's very convincing. But everyone is like still a little riled up right now, and they're like, "Ah," because they clearly want to murder him.
I gotta say to y'all, Isaiah wanted to be a healer, not a killer. I don't believe Isaiah would want someone to die over his death. Let's act in the spirit of Isaiah.
I'll turn to the mayor and say, all right, Mayor Dick, you want to kill another kid today? What do you say?
Yeah.
Please.
I guess if you
Trevor.
want to, you ought to come over here and do it your damn self.
Please putting down her pitchfork.
Let's
That was
see.
the perfect tone of voice for it, though. No.
Yeah, Trevor is probably not that young, but he's probably of the three. He's probably in the cell. He's probably the oldest, but
It's a metaphor. Let's
no,
just
that's
roll
fair.
with it.
That's fair. Let me like the let's see. He What will the mayor do at this point? It's really question is there's a balance of power question going on right now. All right, here we go.
I'm hoping my factional pull with the townsfolk will be helping here.
A little bit. It's you all don't have a lot of pull. That's the thing, is that it's enough to get their ear a little bit, so that they're, they know that they acknowledge your existence, but probably will tend to shrug off what it is you were saying. As far as the favor goes, your pull with individuals is what's more important here, right now, which is a thing. All right. So, Sheriff?
Yep.
I will tell you what. We can see, I think, where all this leads. But perhaps, with new understanding and compassionate leadership in law enforcement, this could be... We might have some hope that justice will be done. I ask you now to step down and make way for your deputy. If you do this, we back off.
I'll stand down and make way. But I'm going to pass it on to the person who has some honor in this situation. You accept or not?
Who's the person who has honor in this situation? Do any of us?
Might cut out.
I haven't answered it yet.
Oh, okay.
I feel like
We're
we
not
should
bu-
know before the agreement's made.
We're not buying a pig in a poke here.
And you're probably not going to come over here and pitchfork this kid either. Let's be honest.
If you've got another candidate, we're willing to hear you.
James has been a stand-up person who has come in here today and stood up for the town and represented people who were not being represented by the rest of y'all. He's the perfect candidate. I will take off my badge and I will hand it to James.
There's an immediate sort of rumble. So I think so. Thomas, hey, how's it going? What's happening inside the inside the sheriff's office while there's a lot of confusion happening outside right now?
Trying to move swiftly. Unlock the cell. Grab both of them. Start leading them out the back door and walking, swiftly moving.
This is a perfect distraction, what's going on outside, so I don't think they are going to see you at all. Under cover of night, you're able to light out with these two. Where are you headed, just out of curiosity?
I assume if the saloon is on the opposite side, then my farm is probably on the opposite side of the tracks as well. So
trying to get far away, and then if there's a safe spot, or if not, go the long way around.
You circle around.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, you got it. You got it. You're going to get them to your hideout. I think that so. The one thing I do want to find out before I think we're at the point we can epilogue this almost, as there's a lot of rumbling and confusion. I do want to find out the one more immediate question, and that is reactions to James being handed the badge.
Trying to convince the sheriff how completely foolish it is to give a former criminal the sheriff's badge, the one who just threatened the mayor. Perhaps that is not the wisest choice. Maybe we could pick someone like Lindsay.
All I'm hearing is that you're jealous. I would have still kept you on payroll.
It's not my job I'm scared for.
Yeah, I know.
All
It's
right.
it's the constant idea that I may or may not shoot you at the door just because I'm feeling like it. That
Oh yeah, I'm moving if you get promoted.
And what is Lee's reaction to this?
Lee had little respect left to lose, and it's gone. She's like, what on earth? Why would you have this person of all people as our sheriff?
Strangely, although, yeah, for some reason though, Jasper and Lindsay don't seem to be too bothered about this. What is James's reaction to being handed the badge?
So I put one revolver in the holster, and I fastened the badge onto my shirt, and I'll say, let's be honest, folks. I'm about the best you're gonna get, especially since I have a plan to take down Duke himself. So we could let me do my job. I promise I won't shoot the deputy. Maybe throw a knife or two, depending on how I feel at the day. And if I had a few, and I could see myself actually cleaning up this town. I actually make promises I can keep.
I'm looking forward to election season.
Give it to Lee. Give it to Lee, y'all.
I'm looking forward to election season.
Lee's invested in this town. Lee ain't broken no law. Give it to Lee.
So, I think that there is sufficient confusion that they're going to, at this point, I don't think the townsfolk are necessary. While the townsfolk are not against James too specifically, they're not because you've got one level of favor with them, which means they they'll, at least they're neutral. They're neutral to James. So they'll be. It's not going to sit great with them, especially they're like, okay, oh yeah, right. Obviously, this is still the outlaws being in charge. But at the same time, they're like, well, it's enough of a thing where they're like, okay, well, it's not certain what's going to happen at this point. The merchants are like, who you have to pull with. I hold you in positive regard, so they're like, yeah, okay, let's give that a try.
'Cause they know I'm gonna I gotta put it. I'm not gonna have the outlaws constantly mess with their businesses as hard. So
And
they actually see me in good light.
yeah, the politicians are like, no, my God, no, we can't have a former outlaw doing this job. So there's that tooth and nail. But so there's a lot of shouting. But I think things are held over long enough that they're not gonna lynch the they're not gonna lynch Trevor because it's uncertain enough at this point that they're gonna go through. They're gonna go through with things. So we have hit the epilogue, which we need to get through here. As we are heading out here. Let's turn to the epilogue. Where's the
I
epilogue?
think in my epilogue, I want to see Trevor and Ulysses. Personally,
All right.
yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do.
So I need to go to. Here we go. So when the dust is settled, it's time for the final epilogues of the town, its inhabitants, and our protagonist. And first, we are starting with the world epilogues. So the players with the most faction favor in a given faction narrate their future. They have carte blanche, but I've got some guiding questions I'm going to ask to set this up. But first I have to ask the player with the most favor in the politicians faction about these first couple of questions, and that's the sheriff, who is the only one who currently has favor with the politicians at
Which
all.
sheriff?
The former sheriff. So, Lucy, and in the aftermath of this, is the town going to be incorporated?
Yes, it's going to be incorporated.
Awesome. And what happens to Mayor Dix?
He's not gonna be mayor anymore. He doesn't have the follow through or really the initiative for the position. So
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the political faction that what happens in their future in this town?
Well, the incorporation of the town is positive for growth and order, so that there is greater opportunities for elections and laws. So it's overall, despite some of the chaos of the day, a positive development for Seco Creek.
Okay. And now I have the townsfolk questions. We have four players who have equal pull with townsfolk. So I'm gonna ask. I think. I'm gonna ask Marquez and Owens this first question. You both get to answer this one. How do the townsfolk respond to the events of the past few days?
It's hard to answer.
Yeah. I think everyone's still sort of, heartbroken about Lil Sylph.
It's a funeral that everybody attends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're feeling like we're gonna get some closure as far as his death, although we're not. Everyone's still sad about it. As far as the changing of sheriff and the other political figures in town, everyone's confused. Confused L.
Right?
Awesome.
In D&D, this would have been great for my chaos.
Well, speaking of chaos,
Well,
I'm gonna ask.
I think, and I think that Trevor, there's some way that Trevor, like I said, I was going to be the anti-restorative justice person, but now I'm going to be the restorative justice person. Like they work out some way for Trevor to serve time in the town instead of in the county, and make a lot of recompense to the town and to the Silversmith family. So he lives and eventually is rehabilitated.
Awesome.
And they are so distracted that they don't notice that the other two went missing.
That's right. Nice. Okay.
We got our apology. We're okay.
Yeah. But and also I need to do this because I just realized of a thing that just happened. Anyway, so at the end here, I'm gonna ask Duval and Grant both. Does anyone move away or otherwise change their life?
So I made, well, the Trevor aspect was done in by the deputy. So I'm gonna go to my brother and I'm gonna have a small conversation with him, tell him, listen, here's $75. I want you to leave town. There's too much bad blood and it's bad enough that everyone, I'm pretty sure the moment they'll see you, they'll try to end you. I would rather you be far away, gone and safe than be under Duke's control and dependent danger in this town. We saw what happened the last few days. Just let me try to fix everything that's here. And then once I feel it's safe enough, I'll come get you myself and maybe try to reintegrate you back into town.
Cool. For Thomas, do you have any thoughts about what anyone moving away or changing their life?
I feel like this was a good I'm done with this place moment for Thomas. So sells off his ranch to exactly who, not sure, and then maybe leaves with person whose name I forgot already.
Oh yeah, that person.
Maybell.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if
the
deputy is also leaving.
We shall have to see.
I need to find a couple things out before I decide that.
Yeah.
Personal epilogues are coming up in just a second, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so he's gonna split.
Oh, interesting. All right.
Maybe other people, maybe by himself, but he's leaving no matter what.
Okay. So for the Merchants faction, it's Grant had the most of the Merchants faction. So I'm going to ask you these questions. Does business increase or decrease after the events of the past few days?
So after this whole thing happened, business took a small hit, but it actually ended up increasing afterwards. They started to notice that I actually do keep my word, and outlaws that's not part of the inner city gang, because I pretty much made them work for me in protecting the said business. The moment they say anything about it, they come to me and I literally handled them. So it's like literally, it's not gang on gang violence, but it's like gang on, listen to me, little fuckers. If you come here, I'm gonna wreck your whole entire shit.
Nice.
So that's basically what happened. Thanks to me protecting them, their business was actually able to grow.
Awesome. And who profits because of what just happened?
Lee, for sure. That's one. and Lee hates it that I'm right. That I was able to keep the outlaws off their backs, and they're seeing their business grow. Lindsay loves me because she's seeing all new customers coming in, drinking, and just enjoying the roundabout atmosphere, like I said earlier in the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Excellent. Very cool. All right, and finally, with the Outlaw faction, Thomas actually got more favor with the Outlaws for doing that, getting them, smuggling two of them out. So now Thomas has total control over this aspect. Is Duke Cahill still in charge of the Outlaws?
No. He is not. I'm going to say that everything that went down completely disrupted the balance of what the mayor had and what Thomas had and what Duke had, of like trying to keep some semblance of everybody working together, even though there was some, crimes happening. But that absolutely crumbles. And now it is harsh. You are either a highwayman with no connection, or you are like in the town following the law. There's no kind of semblance of working together. And now it's like, it's less obvious, but when stuff gets rough, it gets real rough.
Yeah. And what becomes of the 3 apprehended bandits?
I'm going to say James's brother probably does exactly what he says. Takes $75 in splits. And then, depending on what Mabel would do, Thomas would say what his plan was. And then whether he sees them on the train the night they leave or not, hope so, but
She's
You're
gotta
like-
go with Thomas. Come on. Go with Thomas.
Well, you get narrative control of it. It's up to you. But does Trevor live? I think that's that's a question.
Yeah, I like the idea of something happens with Trevor in town that gets people for rather than going to
Yeah.
county.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So real quick, we're just going to do you get personal epilogues as well. This is basically like if this were the end of a movie and we had a quick montage where you would see just a tiny sliver, a little thing of the last thing we see of this character, to sort of tell us sort of what their fate is. What do we see? And it says you can go in any order. So if like certain people want to go after other people, that's okay. So who wants to do theirs first?
Well, I need to ask a question for mine really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Does James change his behavior based on the fact that the deputy orchestrated saving his brother? Like, is he still hostile and threatening to the deputy?
No, he's calmed down. If anything, you'll see a wedding ring on his hand.
Yeah. I've lost all respect for Carolina for liking you, so that's okay.
That's my wife.
I'm used to stepping in shit. I'm used to having the opportunity to be sheriff and then losing it. That's not a problem, so I'll just keep working. I keep working for this sheriff. Whatever.
All right. And
So you just see the last scene is me just doing some paperwork in the sheriff's office, just like, yep,
Okay.
that's how it goes.
Awesome. And who's next?
Yeah, I could go next. So like I said, I pretty much saved the town. Got hitched, did that whole deal. If anything, I talk to Walters from time to time, try to get their perspective when I just want to go straight for the answer of shoot first, you know. So I talk to them as much as possible, and I like to think that me being in this new position has kind of redeemed me from being the outlaw that I used to be into this lawman, and I could continue to do good in this town. I mean, I've even slowly gotten around to warming up to the deputy. I have no problems sharing a couple of shots of whiskey when the mood strikes me.
Excellent.
I go with it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We're mostly cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We
All
get
right.
drinks together at best. That's it.
Very cool. Very cool. Who's next?
I guess I'll go. So, Lee is still suspicious as hell. Doesn't trust that this piece is gonna last, but wants to sort of help, ensure the future of Seco Creek. So Lee's running for mayor.
Excellent. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Still running the shop and kind of pissy that it's doing well, but whatever. She got her trusty pitchfork behind the counter, ready at all times.
Excellent. All right, and it's going to be either the sheriff or Thomas.
I'm ready, or you can go first, either one.
Go right ahead.
The final scene with the sheriff is just a field somewhere outside of town where they join up with the now disregarded Duke Cahill, and they slowly go toward each other and grasp hands, and then form a sort of Robin Hood kind of romantic relationship where they steal money and give it to people who need it, and probably bother the town a lot.
Well, that's right. We didn't even really get into very much your relationship with Cahill, but that's very cool. That's very cool. It comes back around. I like it. All right. And what is the last thing we see of Thomas?
Last scene of Thomas is Thomas sitting on the seat of a train looking out the window as the scenery's going by. Camera zooms out a little bit to show a briefcase, which is closed, but everybody knows is full of money from selling his ranch. And then the camera zooms out a little bit farther for Mabel sitting next to him in the seat next to him. And then zooms out a little farther, and she's also holding a briefcase with whatever money was made off of the black box because nobody found it.
Oh, that's right. We didn't. Excellent. Brilliant. Yes, and just so folks know, yes, she was the one who hid the box, so that's why she knew where it was. Awesome. Very cool. All right. Well, we have reached the end. Thank you for playing Seco Creek Vigilance Committee. Very cool, folks. We're going to go around and do our outros, and folks can feel free to say where you can find them. Feel free to plug whatever you like, and any final thoughts you had about this game. And we're going to go reverse order from our intros, and so we are going to start with Iron.
Yes. You can find me online. Well, mostly on Twitter. I hang out with Norman Lambert 45. I'm spitting nonsense most of the time, and I really love this game. I thought I was gonna go for some hardcore murders, but no, it's just let me role play, which I think I needed in my life. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for going and playing this. It was very cool seeing how you played James. It was very neat. And now over to Jesse.
Cool. Jesse Galena. You can see Rexicon Jesse is pretty much Twitter, my website, Reddit, everything I use uses that handle. I make RPG material. One Page Lore is my latest thing that's coming out this month. And I also do video editing and reviews for video games on The Escapist. So you can see me there too.
Nice. Awesome. Very cool. Did you have any final thoughts about the session today?
Oh, yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I came into this knowing basically nothing and had a hoot figuring it out. It was really fun.
It's very cool. Thank you so much for going by. And Thomas was a very key character. Damn it, I made a pun unintentionally. Oh, well. We'll figure it out later. Curses. All right. I'm just not going to say anything anymore. Hi, Mem. How'd it go?
Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm Mem. You can find me kind of on Twitter at UncertainMem. And actually, usually Sundays here in about 30 minutes.
Oh, crap. Yeah.
We don't have a whole lot of time. So as far as this game, it was super fun. I tried to look over it beforehand, and I confused myself, so I didn't actually understand what was happening. And all my thoughts about what Lee would be, just like this wholesome, like, business owner who's on the side of good, went way out the window as soon as I realized there's a mob. Like, that sounds fun. Join the mob, grab the pitchfork, get ready. So things changed up from what I thought, but it changed up in a way that was way more fun for me. So usually I'm a pretty like calm, collected character, and today I got to not be, which is awesome.
Very cool. And now over to Jen.
Hello. You can find me on Twitter, and I know it's right up there, but I always say it anyway. I'm at Quixote Jen, QUIXOTEJEN, 1 N, not 2. And I hang out there quite a lot, but I also helped create the Twitch channel Friends Who Roll Dice, which is brand new as of like 3 weeks ago. And we've got a really active Discord with like lots of cool people chatting and supporting each other. And then I am in 2 of our shows on Tuesday night, 6 to 9. I'm in The Gods We Know, which is basically a bunch of players who love each other telling a story about people learning to love each other. And I'm in The Mind and the Murder on Thursday from 6 to 9, and it's brand new. We just had 2 episodes and I'm a very grumpy Triton with a crazy accent, and it's super fun. So that's where you can see me.
Awesome.
And the game, oh my God, I loved all the role playing. Like, that was so fun to have it be almost purely role playing. There were a couple times where I was like, I wish I could do an insight check, but I actually really like how we did it. And I love that if I go back to that first paragraph about my character, I always step in shit, nothing ever quite works out for me. Like, it completely came to that. But I think that was perfect for how my character was set up. So I love it. It was great.
Brilliant. Well, thanks so much for coming and playing, and that was very cool. I really liked the what you did with the deputy. It was great. And finally, over to our sheriff, Lucy.
Hey, I'm Lucy. You can sort of find me on Twitter. I'm sometimes there. I'm a writer and philosopher in real life, so you can check out my blog. It's intertextualities.wordpress.com. I have it linked on my Twitter. And my most recent blog post is Welcome to My House, Flowrida's Magic Circle and the Politics of Possibility. So if you like philosophy and pop culture, it's kind of the kind of thing that I do. And I had a great time today. Thank you for having me, and I really enjoyed role-playing with all of you. It was a lot of fun, so thank you.
Yay! Thank you so much for playing. It's I miss you.
I miss you too.
Awesome. Well, folks, that leaves me. I'm Jim. This is my channel. I am Other Doc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and some of my fiction and games that I've been working on, along with links to game signups and applications to join our Discord. In less than an hour, we are having our regular game of dark matter, Ghosts of Saltmaw, the Ghosts of Saltmarsh in Space, run by Alyssa. On Monday nights, I am over on Salty Sweet Games, playing in their new D&D 5e campaign, Strange Invasion: Assault on the Barrier Peaks. On this Tuesday night, we are starting our short campaign of Call of Cthulhu. We're going to be doing a bunch of Session 0 stuff, and I'm very much looking forward to it. On Thursday evening, we have our short campaign of The Sprawl, run by guest MC Brian. It's a cyberpunk powered by the Apocalypse game, so it's a lot of fun. Saturday nights, I run Invisible Sun here. And then, of course, Sunday afternoons, we come back to that. Other one-shots. Right now, I need to shuffle a few things around on the one-shot schedule, because I may not want to tackle something as soon as I was going to. So we'll have to. I need to. Time got away, and I realized, wait, I need more time to recruit and look and learn this. So we'll there's one or two things might get pushed back. I'll have more announcements about anything that we might not have something this Sunday. We'll see. 1 week from today, we'll find out. So signups right now also temporarily don't have anything yet. Gonna figure it out shortly within the next day or so and put it on the website. So you can on the website you can go either jimyesthatjim.com, click on game sign up when that comes out, or go down below and click on RPG sign up. But as always, beginners are more than welcome. So when we hit the end card, where shall we go? I'm going to send a raid over to NCAF1. Mark the Encaffeinated One is running games over on his channel. It's Legend of the Drowned Isles, actual play D&D. We're going to go over there and say hi. Feel free to hang out if you so desire and say hi to them with us. That again will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and I will see you all of a sudden. Farewell.